I'm about to expose infinite banking. Here are the 7 reasons why everyone thinks it's a scam. The first reason is knowledge, or the lack thereof. There's just generally not a lot of knowledge about life insurance. In fact, most people are misinformed about life insurance. And with infinite banking specifically, people think, well, it is just life insurance. And it is, but it's about how you utilize the life insurance that really makes infinite banking the thing. Because infinite banking in and of itself is not a product. It is a process. Life insurance is the product. So it's all about how you utilize it. Right? If you take a big piece of metal by itself, well, it's just a metal piece. But if you put a hole in it and put 2 of those pieces on the end of a bar, now you have a bench press. And so by itself, the weights are just pieces of metal. But when you utilize it properly, then now you can actually use it to become stronger and better. And in regards to infinite banking, there's just not a lot of knowledge out there. And the people that spread the knowledge, the Dave Ramseys of the world, they don't understand life insurance either. They might tell you that they do, but they don't. And a lot of people don't understand the intricacies. A lot of people have not gone through the understanding, the training, and really the deep dive into the products, read the illustrations, been able to break apart different myths about what it is. And you have to work with somebody that's a trained infinite banking practitioner that has the knowledge. Number 2 is marketing, which is really a byproduct of number 1. Of knowledge. And because of the lack of knowledge, because even insurance agents don't have the knowledge, and because the Dave Ramseys and Susie Ormans of the world don't actually have financial knowledge, then the marketing is flawed. And these people spend a ton of money spreading the wrong message. And you might say, well, why would anybody do that? Well, let's look at US media. Let's look at the mass media. There is tons of marketing. You can call that propaganda, really, of misinformation. And so there's a ton of misinformation about infinite banking as well. And one of the biggest things that is debated in the infinite banking world and marketed improperly is the difference between IULs versus whole life. And IULs are mass marketed today. They're sexy, they look good. I always explain that an IUL is like a sexy looking car with a good paint job that when you lift up the hood, it has a messed up engine. And if you really understand the infinite banking process, you'll understand that IULs lapse 89% of the time between the ages of 60 and 85. And that Nelson Nash, who's actually the founder of the infinite banking concept, who discovered the infinite banking concept, he says you have to use whole life. And so for all the people out there utilizing IULs for infinite banking, it is not how you do it properly. It has to be whole life. Most of the people that market whole life or sell whole life are older insurance agents that have been in the industry for years and years and years and don't know how to do marketing and don't do that much marketing. And therefore the real voice, the message that should be sent out into the world is not being vocalized, and they're going to trust the loudest voice, and it's not going to be the right voice, and it usually is not. And again, the mass media is a great example of misinformation marketing that's wrong, and this is the same case with indexed universal life policies and whole life policies. So make sure you get the information from a trained and authorized infinite banking practitioner and nobody else. Number 3 is transparency, and this is also now a direct result of number 1 and number 2. Because they're mismarketing and they have a lack of knowledge, there's a lack of transparency. Now, I'm giving most agents the benefit of the doubt and saying that they are ignorant, not greedy. And therefore, they aren't transparent because they don't know any better. Because there's a lot of misunderstanding about the hidden costs and fees around both IULs and whole life insurance. And all you have to do is read the illustration. But who the heck is going to read a life insurance illustration? Most people are not. Well, I am. And if you read at the bottom of every single page of an indexed universal life policy, the costs and fees change at the discretion of the life insurance carrier whenever they want to, based on economic conditions. And as far as I'm concerned, economic conditions continually get worse and worse and worse. And so if you owned an insurance carrier and you were the ones that were issuing these policies and you knew taxes were going up, you knew the economy was more strained, you know that people were struggling more, well, therefore you must increase your fees because otherwise you lose profit margin. And so this happens a lot in the later years. The biggest thing I love about whole life insurance is that it's transparent. You can literally understand every aspect of it because it's guaranteed from day one. What you see on a whole life illustration is what you get. What you see on an IUL illustration is totally hypothetical based on the performance of the stock market of which index that it is tracking. And therefore it is absolutely bogus of what's on the illustration to what actually happens in real life. Whole life illustration has guaranteed costs and fees that you can actually understand and that will never change for your whole life. Whereas IULs have a very much lack of transparency and it's very hard to understand, and it's totally up to the discretion and the control of the insurance carrier themselves. So make sure that you're understanding fully what you're getting when you apply for one of these, and that's why none of my clients and none of my family would ever have an IUL, because it's impossible to be completely transparent because anything can change at any time whenever they want to. Number 4 is design, and I'm talking about the design of the policy. Now, if you're working with an agent that doesn't understand it, that's marketing improperly indexed universal life policies, and is not understanding the transparency of what literally is written on the bottom of an illustration, then they're going to poorly design your policy. Now, I am trained in understanding how to design them properly. I've taken courses on it. It is important that you understand to work with somebody that's maximizing your cash value, and that does not mean to minimize your death benefit, because the cash always follows the death benefit. What do I mean by that? I mean that if you really understood life insurance and you understood how cash works in a life insurance policy, most people that sell IULs will tell you that you want to maximize the cash value and minimize the death benefit. And that's not accurate. You actually want to maximize the cash value and maximize the death benefit, because the cash value will always equal the death benefit upon maturity date of the life insurance policy. What does that mean? That means that the more death benefit you have, the more that your cash value has to go up. And it looks like something like this, where if your death benefit is up here, then your cash is going to have to grow to where at age 121, they equal each other. And the more that you have a higher death benefit, the more cash value you'll have, which means that at every point in your life, you'll have more cash value than you would otherwise, because here you're going to be able to have more cash in the early years, more cash in the later years, because you made the smart decision to have a higher death benefit, which improves the cash value of the policy, and you want to design it properly. Just like when you buy a new house, you walking in there and you're designing your house with the interior designer, with your realtor. You're understanding what you need and where you need it. That is what your life insurance agent should do with you with your life insurance policy, is design it properly to the specifications that you need to maximize the benefits that you can use in your policy. Now, before we move on, please like and subscribe. It really means a lot to us, and that way we can add the most amount of value possible to you. Number 5 is utilization. You could have a perfectly designed policy with transparent costs and fees, marketed properly, and all the knowledge in the world. But if you don't use it, you lose it. And for life insurance, specifically for an infinite banking policy, you must utilize it to get the full benefits of it. Now, unfortunately, for most life insurance policies, you buy it and you never look at it ever again. Most of the time when we're calling people, they know they have some sort of life insurance, but they haven't looked at it in 20 years. They got it when they got married. They got it when they had kids. They got it in the past, and they haven't looked at it for a long time. When you're utilizing infinite banking, it should be as if you utilize your bank account. That's the whole purpose of it. And so just as often as you're putting money in and taking money out of your bank, you should be putting money in and borrowing money against your life insurance policy. If you want to maximize the use of your policy, it's the same as going to the gym. If you have those weights and they're just sitting there and you don't actually move them, well, you're not going to get any stronger. If you have a gym membership and you don't walk into the gym, you're not going to lose the weight that you've been looking to lose. And if you have a policy that looks nice and designed properly from the start, but you don't actually utilize it to buy cars, to buy real estate, to improve your business, to pay for your wedding, to pay for your college or your kids' college, to pay for all the major purchases in life and use it for your cash flow, then you're not utilizing it properly. And so it's important to at least use your policy for your major purchases of life. And when I say that, I'm talking about all of those things I just mentioned, but the utilization of it is key. And if you want to utilize it, just think about how often you use your bank account, and that's the way you should utilize your policy. You're flowing your money through your bank account to your policy and back to your bank account to use it for the major purchases in life, because the number one reason that we have financial issues in America is because we finance everything that we buy. And if you can use your whole life insurance policy with the infinite banking process, then you can flip all of that debt on itself and you can start becoming the banker. And banking is the most important business in the world, and that is why if you utilize your policy properly, you will become super wealthy and you'll be able to leave generational wealth for all your future generations to come. Number 6 is bad advice. Now, this is really not just about infinite banking, but about life in general. Is that if you want to be great at basketball, watch Michael Jordan. You want to be great at soccer, watch Messi. You want to be great at golf, watch Tiger Woods. But just because Tiger Woods is great at golf doesn't necessarily mean you should ask him for relationship advice. And the same holds true in business. Infinite banking is a scam because so many people online talk about it being a scam. If you Google infinite banking, if you go on YouTube and look up infinite banking, the prevailing message out there is that it's a scam. But the reason that it's a scam is because of the advice that's given by people that don't have the knowledge and don't watch the proper process for how to use, design, speak about, and market infinite banking properly. And so for those people that are watching Dave Ramsey, those people that are watching Susie Orman, those people that are watching all the people out there giving advice about IULs when they've never even read an illustration, you're just taking advice from the wrong people. I would never go out to say that I'm a master at understanding the stock market. I am not securities licensed. I'm a master at this right here, and a lot of people are not. And so out of all of the 900,000 insurance agents in the world, there's really only 280 people that are authorized to do infinite banking, and those are the people that you should take advice from. And make sure that you're taking advice from the right people on that in which they are masters at. And so there's a ton of bad advice, there's a ton of skepticism, there's a ton of negative backlash about infinite banking, and if people really understood the previous 5 things for why it's a scam and they understood the inner game of it, there would be less bad advice out there. But just beware of the bad advice that you're taking, because that's another reason that so many people think infinite banking is a scam. Number 7 is alternatives. And alternatives is the biggest choice between, do I put money into my policy or do something else? We have so many investment opportunities today. We have so many places that we can put our money. We can put our money in the stock market. We can put our money in bonds, in crypto, in Forex, in real estate. Keep it in the bank. Put it under your mattress. There's so many alternatives. You can use it for your business, buy equipment, buy anything with it. Take your spouse out to dinner, right? These are all things that people think of because they think of life insurance as an expense. And so therefore it's about, do I spend my money on this or this? Do I invest my money in this or this? You're gonna get returns more in the market. You're gonna get more returns in a real estate deal. You're going to improve if Bitcoin goes to the moon. You're going to make way more money doing that than any time ever with the life insurance policy. But that's not what infinite banking is really all about. In fact, Nelson Nash, in Becoming Your Own Banker, in the very first page in the introduction, says this book is not about investments of any kind. It is about how one finances the things of life, which can certainly include investments, but it is not about rates of return. As time goes by, interest rates go up and down, but the process of banking goes on no matter what is happening. And it is a well-known fact that banks actually make more money during times of low interest rates rather than when rates are high. And so a lot of people think about infinite banking as, do I do it instead? Do I invest in the stock market or real estate? Rather than thinking about, how can I put money into my policy and then borrow against it to invest in real estate? So it's an and situation, not an instead of situation. And you want to use these two things in conjuncture together rather than looking at them as alternatives. In and of itself, life insurance stands alone. Life insurance has no counterforce. Life insurance is not something that has to be compared to anything else because it's unlike everything else. And so you want to figure out how to utilize it with all of the other things of your life, with your cars, with your homes, with your real estate, with your business, with all of the other aspects of life, because it's about how you finance the things in your life, not how you invest. And that is one of the top reasons why so many people believe that infinite banking is a scam. And a bonus for you, number 8, is because you're not talking to me, right? I am an authorized infinite banking practitioner. Most of these other people that you're talking to that don't have the knowledge, that are marketing improperly with misleading marketing practices, that are not transparent simply because they don't understand the costs and fees of a policy, that don't know how to design it because they've never been trained to do it, that don't know how to utilize it because they've never utilized it for anything in their life either, right? I'm somebody that's utilized it, somebody that's giving you bad advice, and that's looking at other alternatives. You go talk to your financial advisor, they say, oh, you shouldn't do that, you're going to get way more returns in the market. It's because you're not talking to me. I am going to teach you and share with you that you should use this with all of the alternatives, with all of the bad advice that these other people are giving you, and use it for all of these options, because I know how to design it properly so you can get the max benefit from it, transparent with the costs and fees, market it properly like the video you're watching right now, and I have the knowledge. I am invested in my time, money, and energy with understanding this. And there's 280 other infinite banking practitioners like me out there, but there's nobody like me personally. I am going to study this like the back of my hand and be able to understand the ins and outs of everything, and I know I'm the best in the game at understanding this business and understanding how you can utilize this for all of the things in your life so you never have to finance from anybody ever again. So to sum it up, the 7 reasons why people lack the knowledge: they have misleading marketing practices, they're not being transparent, or they don't understand the costs and fees associated, they don't know how to properly design a policy or teach you how to utilize it, you're getting bad advice from people that don't really understand this thing, they're evaluating other alternatives because they're thinking about the choice of whether to do this instead rather than with everything else that's out there. And last and most important, you're not working with me. And remember, if you don't work with me, that's okay. But go to infinitebanking.org through the Nelson Nash Institute and work with an authorized infinite banking practitioner that's going to understand all of these 7 key points to design the best policy for you to maximize everything that you need in your life to benefit the most.